along with it, pachyderm-sized problems. A live look at the zoo right now. That's our top story. Cristina Tenaglia joining us with all those details. Good evening, Cristina.
Hi, Kyle. Yeah, here we are. Thika, Toka, and Iringa are making their way out of what has been their home for two of the elephants, their entire lives, some 40-plus years. So this will be a very slow process, as you can imagine, which also speaks to how the day has carried out. We expected this journey to begin at 2 o'clock. Here we are, 10:30 now, so hours later, almost 8 hours later, and this process is beginning now. Now, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding the movement of these animals. We heard earlier tonight, live on CP24 by phone, former Price is Right host, who's also an animal activist, Bob Barker, who is paying for part of the transfer. He claims he's paying for the transfer because he has always felt that a place like the Toronto Zoo, the climate here is not suitable for elephants. This Paws Sanctuary, which is near Sacramento, California, the animals will have free range. They'll have the ability to move around as they would, which would be quite similar, I should say, to their natural setting. And it's, of course, quite warmer there. Also, Canada's accredited zoos and aquariums were also against this trend, is that the animals could contract TB. That's a fatal disease for the elephants if that is the case. So you can hear the revving of those trucks, clearly a wide load, a heavy load. These elephants weigh hundreds, thousands of pounds here. And they will be traveling with vets as well as 2 zoo officials. They'll also be escorted by the OPP. That's just up until the border. And then they're on their own for what will be a 50-hour drive for some 4,500 kilometers. You're looking at it now. Here is the first flatbed truck with 2 crates on it. These are the 2 older elephants, Iringa and Toka. They're both in their 40s, both female. They're inside, and there they go. The younger of the group, Thika, will be traveling behind them. And again, these animals have lived here really their entire lives. So you're watching them make their way east here on Old Finch Avenue. They're going to make a right on Meadowvale. They'll hook up with the 407, the Highway 407 when they can, and make their way to the border. And here we go. We have the younger of the group, Thika. She's about 33 years old now. Again, spent her life here at the zoo. These animals have been trained to get into these crates. This is a process that has gone on for some time so that they would be comfortable, and so that process, the training process, would reduce their stress level throughout this trip.
And Cristina, we know that this has been quite emotional for zoo workers who have been working with these elephants for years. They had a candlelight vigil there, and they were opposed to this move. What is happening there? Is there a crowd of people at all, or is it really just media watching this?
It really is just reporters, but there are a few people who have shown up throughout the day because they wanted to watch this move take place. Yes, this is an emotional moment for people who work here at the zoo. You know, they describe these elephants as having, they've described to us their personalities, saying one is unpredictable, one is friendly, one tries to always sneak snacks away when staff aren't looking. So they have developed a relationship with these animals here over the years. It is a difficult time. It's like losing a friend or perhaps a colleague for them because they spend each day with these creatures. So it's been difficult for them. And as you mentioned, there was a vigil here at the zoo last night. So this has been a contentious issue on many levels, not only politically in terms of the city and zoo staff, but in terms of animal groups, some for, some against this transfer. Again, Bob Barker very much for this transfer. And that's what we've seen. And, perhaps this speaks to the future here at the Toronto Zoo as well in terms of what animals they'll bring to live here and in terms of what animals they'll accept. And, maybe they'll take that into consideration in the future. What climate is suitable for these animals? How much space do they need? Because we know these animals, all from Africa, will arguably be much happier, as Bob Barker says, in a sanctuary where they can run around and live in a setting that is much more typical to their natural state. Back to you.
And we know that many people were concerned about the elephants traveling for so long in the crates, but keepers have been training these elephants for weeks now to get used to the new condition while they're out on the road.
Right, and the idea is to reduce the stress level on behalf of these animals. Elephants, like many animals, do feel pain and emotions, and we heard from one official today who says, this will be a little bit of you may not want to say traumatic, but it'll be a trip that will perhaps disturb them in some ways. They've never really been on the road. 2 of the elephants arrived here from Africa when they were 4 and 5 years old and have lived here ever since. One of them was born here. So imagine that being here their entire lives, which is why they were trained for this process of getting in and out of the crates. It is the journey of this 50-hour journey that will prove to be challenging for these creatures, but staff have assured us there will be breaks in between. They will be taken care of health-wise. There's some $8,000 worth of medical equipment following along with these animals, not to mention right now police, an OPP convoy to make sure that they're safe in terms of that commute. But a lot of effort has gone into this, and also an organization called Active Environment. Their specialty is animal transportation, so they're responsible for this trip.
Certainly a lot of people along for that ride, making sure that it is a safe journey, this 2-day journey. That's Cristina Tenaglia joining us live from the zoo tonight, where those elephants have, after years of talking about this, have now left the zoo. Thanks, Cristina.